Tony Bellew and Wayne Rooney are among 7 sports stars who have bravely exposed themselves for lacking in length, with their admissions having mixed responses to say the least. As the old saying goes, it's not about the size, but rather what you do with it. And for the following 7 sports stars, that saying rings true. While they excel in their respective disciplines, whether it be on the court, in the ring or on the pitch, they leave something to be desired in the downstairs department. Rather than shy away from it, though, they've spoken out in solidarity with the rest of the male population who are struggling size-wise. And for that, we at Daily Star Sport commend them, not that we can relate or anything. Tony Bellew. Former boxing world champion Tony Bellew is brutally honest in describing his manhood as a goldfish as he recalled his first meeting with Everton legend Duncan Ferguson, who was a guest on his Tony Bellew is Angry podcast this week. Bellew had crossed paths with Big Dunk in the sauna at the Toffees Finch Farm training ground when he was cutting weight for a fight. New Forest Green Rovers boss Ferguson joked, "I hope I had a towel on." "You weren't comparing, were you?" To which Bellew replied, "You were sound lad, I've only got a goldfish, there's nothing to worry about here." Have we missed anyone off the list? Let us know in the comments section below. Andy Murray. There's no doubting Andy Murray's stamina after he triumphed in thrilling 5-set Australian Open victory over the Aussie Kokkinakis last month, which lasted nearly 6 hours. However, his size may be a different story. Post-match Murray attributed his comeback to having a big heart, prompting the on-court interviewer to say, "Well Andy, if I may say, you have a big everything." "I'm not sure my wife would agree," the tennis legend replied, sparking laughter from the crowd. Sean Strickland. UFC legend Sean Strickland showed he's one of us, I mean them, when he offered to help a journalist get in shape by training with him. "You're gonna make your D at least inches too bigger, I promise you," he told the reporter, who looked on in stunned silence. Strickland added, "Every time I make weight my D is at least 1 inch bigger and I got a little D, so I take every inch I can get." Trey Adams. There's many things you shouldn't bring up in a job interview, and somewhere near the top of that list would be anything to do with your penis. But college football hopeful Trey Adams did just that at the NFL Combine in 2020 as he looked to secure himself a contract. He was asked, if there's one thing you could change about yourself, what would it be? After taking a moment to think, the best he could muster up was a bigger D. Unsurprisingly, he wasn't picked in that year's draft. Chad Johnson. Adams should have followed in the footsteps of former NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson, who waited until the end of his career to make an admission about his, Johnson. Back in June 2016 he posted an Instagram video speaking about McDonald's, which quickly took a turn. "Only thing wrong with me is downstairs," he began. "I ain't nothing but 3 inches, but that's alright though. I ain't worried about that. Because my personality make up for it." Hayden Peacock. Sometimes in life you have to laugh or you'll cry, and that was the case for Aussie Rugby League star Hayden Peacock when, ironically, his C was nearly ripped off in a tackle. The incident, which happened in a match in France in March 2016, left him needing surgery. But he made light of the situation surrounding his little fella. Taking to Instagram, he wrote, "Not the best reason to be on the front page of the paper this morning. Rugby league is definitely not a sport I recommend. 11 stitches later for the little fella, but she'll be right." Wayne Rooney. With DC United finishing rock bottom in the Eastern Conference of the MLS last season, you can understand why manager Wayne Rooney would say anything to get his players fired up. Telling them he had a tiny penis and it hadn't stopped him seemed to have the opposite effect, though. Back in November, a source told The Sun, it was very funny and he hoped using personal references would make it look like the speech was from the heart. But the majority of his side were left bemused and struggled to understand what his sex life and size of his manhood had anything to do with what happens on the pitch. A few of the young lads were horrified. They don't share the same British sense of humor. Thank you for watching our videos. Subscribe to our channel to get notifications when we post newest videos. Thank you and goodbye.
We've been holding up for the girls for a minute.